welcome back to Jerry's Film Talks, and in this video we are going to be talking all about Season 8, Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead. So I had access to watch this a little bit early because I'm one of those snobs who pays for AMC Plus. No, I didn't get a special link or anything like that, but I did catch it early, and I have some thoughts. I went back to watch it a second time, and I still have the same thoughts, so what better way to talk about those thoughts than in this video here? So be sure to like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things Fear the Walking Dead. I will be reviewing each of these episodes episodically, so look out for a review for all 12 of the episodes that come out. And with that out of the way, let's jump right in to Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1. Now, this episode started out with a little bit of an introduction to where Morgan and Madison were leading into Padre, and then shortly after, with really no indication at all, which is a good thing, we got a time skip where we're 7-8 years somewhere in that time frame in the future, and we're seeing baby Mo from her perspective in Padre. So that's really the setup for the whole episode, and we come to learn quickly that Madison was in a cell, and in that time that she was in the cell, we have no indication of where Morgan is. We know Mo goes by some different name now, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but we know she goes by a different name. We know Madison's in a cell, and all the time that she's in the cell, she's just trying to unalive herself in any which way, shape, or form, which, might I add, I thought was really cheesy, to be completely honest. But we're going to get into my actual feelings in the episode in a minute. But you get that whole thing, and then the whole time that's happening, you're wondering, well, where did Morgan go? Where's Morgan? It's been 7-8 years. What happened to him? Where'd he go? Well, eventually, we come to learn through the most coincidental sequence that he's just lingering around the area. So when Madison tries to escape with Mo in the most ridiculous act ever, they end up just fatefully finding Morgan along the road somewhere by a carnival. Like, oh my God, where have you been? And it turns out Morgan is working for Padre, and the whole time he's been there trying to set up Mo so she's in a good place for her life, and he's like a scout or something for them. And he only takes in like the good kid or the good kids, the good boys and girls. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was so cheesy. So yeah, that was pretty much the whole setup for the episode, was trying to get Mo back to Padre after Madison and Mo escaped, and the triumphant and all the like trials that came from that scenario. Okay, so there's a lot of mixed emotions on this episode, and there are some things I liked about it and some things I didn't like about it, more than positive. So I'm going to say I didn't really like this episode, but I didn't hate this episode. It's definitely better than anything that we got in season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead, but that doesn't make it a good episode. You know what I mean? Okay, what I will say is this episode very well established the story, and it was a good establishing episode. Does that make it bad? No, because the storyline that they're going for is somewhat passable. I could see it, but I don't know where they're going to get to in the end. It's just, I don't know. I do like that they started this episode off in the way, or not started it, but started this season off in the way where you see that he was writing Jenny, Dwayne, King County, and all of those places on the wall, kind of like how he was in clear mode. So I do like that we're getting glimpses of that. It is definitely going to be a testament to what is to come. We already saw a little bit of that with Grace in the trailers saying, Rick gave you this gun for a reason, use it this time or whatever. So like, we're going to get that. And you got the introduction to that in this episode. But with all of that establishing stuff out of the way, like I said, there's a lot I liked, a lot I didn't like. Mainly, I didn't like it. So to start off, I personally just felt like the acting and the believability of everything that was transpiring just was really bad. I thought the whole thing was just goofy. The setup. Now, the one thing with that setup, I will say that I liked, is I liked that they didn't outright say that there was a time skip. Because usually in The Walking Dead, they do something either visually or just straight up tell you when they're doing a time skip. Here they didn't. We have the beginning establishing shots with Morgan and Madison, which was nice to see. And then we immediately go over to Mo, and we don't really know who this person is right away until we slowly learn, oh, this is Mo. Which I really did like. I liked that we had that set up where it wasn't really obvious to us. And then we see Madison, who's writing on the wall. And honestly, that's where I started to have a problem with this episode. It wasn't so much with Mo specifically. It was when we got to Madison and her in the cell. Her acting just felt very dry. And Kim Dickens is, I think, fantastic. I've always liked her as Madison, but something just didn't feel right here. Maybe it's that she's just a little rusty in getting back into Madison's character, or maybe that's just how it was written. Something about it just seems so stale. It wasn't believable at all that she was in the cell for 7 years, like straight up at all. It just wasn't. It was like goofy. And the whole thing with Mo going down to visit Madison, and then she's like, oh, give me the crowbar, or whatever it was, the sledgehammer. And Mo is just like, sure, I'll give you this dangerous person who I was just warned about a crowbar. Like, come on. That's a prime example of how the writing is just so stupid in Fear the Walking Dead. Like, it really is. So, of course, Mo hands her the hammer, and she just immediately tries to kill herself when she has the hammer. So it's just stupid. It really is. It's just goofy. And then to make matters worse, immediately Mo and Madison escape by killing the two most inept guards with Madison's really odd, like, sweeping move where she just takes out both of their legs in, like, the worst way ever. Like, those are the dumbest guards on planet Earth, but whatever. Then they don't show anything of her escaping. Like, where's all the guards at Padre? They didn't show any of that. They just automatically jumped to Madison and Mo getting on a boat. Like, how did you pass everyone in Padre? How is that even possible? How did you pass all these people? Oh God, it was so weird. Like, that's so unbelievable there, all that series of events in and of itself. But anyway, somehow magically they escape Padre. No idea how, but they escape and they go on a boat, and it just so happens where they dock their boat, because Madison's like, oh, we got to quickly get off this boat. They're going to be finding us. Like, we need to get on foot, as if they're not going to see your boat that you stole from Padre. Bizarre. Anyway, whatever. They get on foot, and oh, it just so happens that they get off right where Morgan is just coincidentally at. What? Like, oh my God, this is where a show like The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead just straight up bothers me, because they used to be so good at storytelling, but now it's just like these fateful findings, like, oh, Morgan's just magically where you were. It reminds me of in Game of Thrones in season 8, when Euron just comes out of the water right to where Jaime is and is like, Kingslayer. It's the same sort of idea here. How are you going to tell me that Madison just gets off a boat and automatically just finds Morgan by chance? It's so goofy. I understand they have to drive the plot forward, and I understand there's 12 episodes in this season compared to 16, so they have to tell it quickly. I get it, but there's like a million ways you could do that, and the way that they did in this episode, I just wasn't fond of. It was really goofy. And honestly, it's fitting for Fear the Walking Dead, because all of Fear the Walking Dead is goofy. It's always kind of been like this. But, oh, okay, whatever. We're just going to get past it, I guess. The fact that he's just there, whatever. And look, I can't just fault it for that at all, but like the story's the story, and those little things, they're just little things, but it really takes me out of what could be a fairly believable story. Whereas I could see somewhere in the apocalypse like this, there may be a group of people that take in only children, and because children are the future and all that stuff, I could get behind that as being possibly realistic in a real world apocalyptic scenario, but I can't get past the way that she escaped with like no issues, no repercussions. Can't get past that. I also can't get past the fact that they just got off a boat and saw Morgan randomly. I can't get past the fact that a kid just randomly hands some dangerous lady a sledgehammer. There's a lot of things off the bat that I'm just like, these are just straight up not believable. And it just wasn't believable. But anyway, whatever. For a while, they go back and forth, and Morgan has this insane plot twist where he wants to kill Madison now for, like, what reason? I don't know. It was so goofy. Yeah, sure, it was because she wanted to get Mo out of there and all of that stuff, and Morgan didn't want that, but, like, come on. Really? She brought you to Padre for a reason. She helped you out. They had a deal, and now he's going to go behind her back in, like, the most goofy way. All for what? All for him to get his scouting license rescinded at the end of the episode. It's really goofy. But anyway, so they go through this whole trial and tribulation thing, and the whole time Mo is having these flashbacks to when she was an infant, because we all have flashbacks to when we were an infant. But anyway, she's having these flashbacks. She keeps hearing this song in her imagination from this flashback, and out of nowhere they get to this swampland where there's this just random house, and in it, for some reason along the way, Morgan decided to just write on a wall Dwayne, Jenny, King County, for God knows whatever reason. But anyway, Mo finds this and is like, this is the dream, like this is what I was imagining, blah blah blah. And it wasn't that she was imagining, she was just having flashbacks from when she was an infant, which just makes no sense, because do you remember when you were an infant? I don't remember when I was an infant. My sister has a couple infants right now. I don't think they know what the fuck oatmeal even is. So, you know what I mean? Like, how are they going to have memories? I don't have memories. They're not going to have memories. You aren't having memories of your infancy. I doubt you are. If you are, let me know in the comments, because I don't get it. But anyway, so after Mo goes on these tangents about what her flashbacks were to her infancy, eventually it gets discovered that this was the place that they were when she got taken into Padre, and out of nowhere in this apparently like swampland area where all the walkers are just standing and they're not even moving because they're in like sinkholes, out of nowhere they get swarmed by all the walkers, and then Grace just magically shows up in the perfect nick of time, like Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead poor writing fashion, right when Madison's about to die. And mind you, Madison's about to die in the most ridiculous way ever. She's just standing there like, no, you guys go. I'm just gonna stay here and die. Like, come on. Really? Come on, man. Like, this is where these shows just really start to bother me. You're meaning to tell me that there's no way she could have fought off that scenario? She's badass as it is, and yeah, she's running out of oxygen, but that storyline in and of itself isn't believable, so it's just... I don't know. And I know this whole time I've been shitting on the episode, but I did find the structure pretty fun to watch. It wasn't like a bad episode. There's a million other shows out there that make way worse crap than this, but it's crap for what The Walking Dead standards really should be, but whatever. I could get past that to enjoy a good 45-minute episode, and I did for the most part. I enjoyed it, but whatever. Everything about all of that was stupid. And did I not forget to mention, even though they didn't say that they did a 7-year time skip and you just saw it with Mo, you have Lenny James the whole time, Morgan going, it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years. Like the whole time. How many times did he say it in this episode? Like 20? He mentioned that it's been 7 years so many times. Like if I had $1 for every time that Lenny James said it's been 7 years, I would have more money than I'd honestly like to admit, because it was just ridiculous the amount of times Morgan made us all aware that it's been 7 years. Hey, by the way, did you know it's been 7 years? I had no idea. 7 years? What? Couldn't tell at all. But realistically, I couldn't tell at all because I thought the acting was really stale in this episode. I did think, like I always do, that Lenny James did a fantastic job. I think Kim Dickens, even though I thought it was a little dry here, I thought she did a good job too. And of course, the actress who plays Mo, she did a good job. I just think the writing was stale and the story dynamic of what was going on, I just thought it made for really bad dialogue, and it wasn't really a fault of the actors because they have to work with what they're given. But yeah, that's honestly all I really have to say about this episode. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. It just kind of was there. And I want to know what your thoughts were on this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments. Are you excited for the rest of Fear the Walking Dead? I can't wait to start a healthy conversation down there. And with all of that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.